Welcome to our deep dive today,
Yeah.
where we'll be kind of exploring the fascinating life and work of Alan Turing.
Okay.
We've got some great material
Yeah.
to work with today, excerpts from a biography,
Right.
and a detailed index of his life and connections.
Okay.
You might already know Turing as the father of computer science,
Mm-hmm.
but get ready to uncover some surprising sides to his story.
That's right. There's so much more to Turing than just his code-breaking feats during World War II.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. What was Turing like as a child?
Well, imagine a brilliant mind constantly clashing with the rigid structure of traditional British education. That was young Turing.
Okay,
His school reports were a fascinating mix,
right.
praised for his intellect, but criticized for being messy and disgusting in his methods.
Sounds like a classic case of a mind that was just way ahead of the curriculum.
Exactly. One story that really captures this
Yeah.
is about Turing conducting chemistry experiments in his dorm room. The housemaster at the time described it as a witch's brew,
Really?
being cooked up with just 2 candles for heat.
Wow.
You can practically picture young Turing totally absorbed in his work,
Yeah.
oblivious to the mess or anyone's disapproval.
So Turing's curiosity really seemed to drive him.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned he struggled socially.
Right.
How did that play out in his early life?
Despite his intellectual gifts, Turing was a deeply lonely child
What?
and had difficulty making friends.
Okay.
However, everything changed when he met Christopher Morcom at Sherborne School. It was a turning point for Turing,
Okay.
described as his first love.
Wow.
Christopher inspired him to actually work on his communication skills
Oh.
so he could express himself more clearly.
This relationship sounds like it had a profound impact on Turing.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
After Christopher tragically passed away, Turing treasured his friend's pencils
Oh.
and star map. It gives us a glimpse into his emotional depth, contrasting with the stereotype of a cold, calculating mathematician.
It's a reminder that behind every great mind is a real person
Mm-hmm.
with a full range of emotions and experiences.
Absolutely. And speaking of experiences, we even see a touch of Turing's teenage humor
Okay.
in a letter to his mother about his observations of Comet Ponswinnock.
Oh.
He cheekily asks his mother to thank him for writing legibly.
Those little glimpses into his personality really help us understand him better.
Yeah.
So from this somewhat isolated existence at Sherborne,
Right.
Turing then went on to Cambridge.
Mm-hmm.
How did that environment shape him?
Cambridge, particularly King's College,
Okay.
was a perfect fit for Turing. It was a haven
Hmm.
where intellectual brilliance was celebrated and conformity was challenged.
Yeah.
For the first time, he found himself surrounded by peers
Yeah.
who appreciated his unique way of thinking.
It seems like he could finally breathe freely there,
Right.
both intellectually and personally.
Yes, and that freedom allowed him to fully embrace his individuality. During this time, he developed an interest in communism.
Uh-huh.
However, it seems his interest stemmed more from a questioning of authority
Right.
than any firm political belief. In 1933, he commented that anyone could see
Right.
something had gone completely wrong with the Western trading and business system,
Okay.
and that Soviet Russia offered a solution
Oh.
through state planning and control.
So he wasn't afraid to engage with the big ideas of his time
Right.
beyond just the mathematical ones.
Exactly. And it was also during this period
Oh.
that Turing began to acknowledge his homosexuality,
Mhm.
a complex issue in the 1930s given the societal norms of the time.
There must have been immense pressure and prejudice during that era.
There was one incident that highlights this took place
Yeah.
at the Founders Feast.
Okay.
Another undergraduate rather insensitively told Turing,
Uh-huh.
"Don't look at me like that, I'm not a homosexual."
That must have been incredibly difficult for him.
Right.
But amidst these personal and social complexities,
Yeah.
Turing's mathematical genius was also beginning to flourish.
You're right. It was at Cambridge that he encountered a problem that would change his life and the course of computing history.
Okay.
Hilbert's Entscheidungsproblem.
Now, this is where things get really interesting for our deep dive today, right?
Yeah.
Could you break down this problem?
Sure.
For those of us who aren't mathematicians,
Yeah.
what was it all about?
In essence, Hilbert was looking for a way to formalize all of mathematics.
Okay.
He wanted to find a method to definitively prove whether any mathematical statement was true or false.
Okay.
Imagine a world where every mathematical truth could be determined mechanically.
That sounds incredibly ambitious.
Yeah.
What did Turing's work reveal about this problem?
Turing, through his work on computable numbers,
Okay.
proved that Hilbert's dream was impossible.
Wow.
To understand why this is such a big deal,
Yeah.
you need to know a little about formal systems in mathematics.
Okay.
They're essentially sets of rules and axioms that we use to derive proofs.
Got it.
Hilbert's dream was to find a formal system so powerful
Right.
that it could, in theory, generate a proof for any true mathematical statement.
Mm-hmm.
Turing, however, demonstrated that there will always be mathematical statements that cannot be proven within any given formal system.
So Turing didn't just solve a problem, he overturned
Yeah,
a fundamental assumption about the nature of mathematics itself.
exactly. And the way he accomplished this is even more remarkable.
Okay.
Turing introduced the concept of a theoretical machine,
Hmm.
what we now call a Turing machine,
Wow.
to tackle this abstract mathematical problem.
Right.
Picture this, a machine with a tape divided into squares,
Uh-huh.
a head that can read and write symbols, and a set of internal states that dictate its actions. By cleverly designing the machine's rules,
Yeah.
Turing could make it simulate any computational process.
And this theoretical machine, conceived to solve a purely mathematical problem,
Right.
ended up paving the way for the computers we use every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing how abstract ideas can have such a profound impact on the real world.
It truly is. Now, this theoretical machine, born from pure math,
Yeah.
essentially laid the foundation for every computer you use today. That's Turing's genius.
That's an incredible insight.
Yeah.
It's clear that Turing's work was groundbreaking, even in these early stages of his career.
Absolutely. But this is just the beginning of Turing's story.
Okay.
From the theoretical realm of computable numbers,
Yeah.
he was about to be thrust into the high-stakes world of code breaking
Wow.
during World War II.
That sounds like a fascinating turn in his journey.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that next.
Okay. As the world plunged into war, Turing's unique skills landed him at a top-secret location, Bletchley Park. You have to imagine this place as a bustling hub of brilliant minds,
Okay.
all racing against time to crack the infamous Enigma code used by the Germans.
It does sound like something out of a spy film.
Right.
What was it like to work there?
The atmosphere at Bletchley Park was a curious blend of eccentric personalities and intense pressure. Everyone felt a sense of urgency knowing the stakes of their work.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical workplace, that's for sure.
So while most of the world was focused on the battles being fought,
Right.
this hidden group of individuals was engaged in their own crucial battle of wits.
Precisely. And the weapon they were trying to disarm was the Enigma machine,
Okay.
a device the Germans used to encrypt their military communications.
Right.
It was an incredibly complex system with rotating rotors and plugboard connections
Oh, yeah.
that created millions of possible combinations.
It sounds like a code breaker's nightmare.
Yeah.
How did Turing approach this challenge?
Building on the work of Polish mathematicians
Okay.
who had made some early progress,
Mm-hmm.
Turing devised a brilliant method to break the Enigma code.
Okay.
He essentially designed a machine called the bomb
Oh, wow.
to systematically test different Enigma settings.
So he was automating the process of code breaking.
Exactly. Instead of relying solely on human intuition and trial and error, the bomb could rapidly cycle through potential Enigma settings, significantly speeding up the decryption process. This breakthrough had a huge impact on the war.
Yeah.
Many historians credit Turing's work with shortening the conflict and saving countless lives.
That's an incredible accomplishment.
Right.
From solving a theoretical mathematical problem
Right.
to playing a crucial role in a global conflict. Turing's journey is truly remarkable.
It is.
And I understand there's a fascinating story about how Turing and his fellow code breakers
Yes.
went about securing resources for their work.
They weren't afraid to stand up for what they believed in, even when it meant challenging authority.
Yeah.
They understood the vital importance of their work and weren't shy about advocating
Okay.
for the resources they needed. There's a famous story about how they wrote a letter
Yeah.
directly to Winston Churchill himself demanding more support
Wow.
for their code-breaking efforts.
And did it work?
It did. Churchill, recognizing the potential impact of their work, swiftly responded, ensuring they received the necessary support.
Wow.
You see, even amidst the pressure of war,
Yeah.
there was a recognition of the power of innovative thinking
Right.
and the importance of empowering those who possess it.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
The testament to the courage and determination of these individuals.
It is.
However, I read that as the code-breaking operation at Bletchley Park expanded, Turing found himself increasingly sidelined. Why was that?
It's ironic, isn't it? The success of the very system he helped build eventually pushed him away from the work he was so brilliant at.
Okay.
As Bletchley Park grew, the focus shifted from individual brilliance to managing a larger, more bureaucratic organization.
So his unique talent, which thrived in a more free-flowing environment, became less valuable as the system became more structured.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
However, this shift also allowed Turing to turn his attention to other groundbreaking ideas. As the war drew to a close, his thoughts turned towards the future of computing.
Sure.
And the then uncharted territory of artificial intelligence.
That's a perfect segue. Turing's ideas about AI, even by today's standards, seem incredibly prescient. Let's explore that aspect of his work.
Absolutely. Turing didn't just see computers as glorified calculators. He envisioned a future where machines could not only process information, but could also think, learn, and perhaps even exhibit a form of intelligence.
Wow.
Rivaling our own.
That's a bold vision, especially for that time.
It was. And one of his most enduring contributions to this field is the Turing test. It's a thought experiment designed to determine whether a machine can exhibit intelligent behavior indistinguishable from that of a human being.
I've heard of the Turing test. Could you explain how it works?
Imagine you're having a conversation through a text-based interface.
Okay.
You don't know if you're communicating with another person or a machine.
Right.
If you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
If the machine's responses are indistinguishable from a human's, then according to the Turing test, that machine could be considered intelligent.
It's a simple yet profound idea. It's remarkable to think that Turing was contemplating these concepts decades before the technology to even attempt such a test existed.
That's why he's considered a visionary. His thinking was so far ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to see how the Turing test continues to be debated and refined even today.
Before we delve further into Turing's work on AI, I'm curious about what he was like as a person during this post-war period. How did he navigate social situations?
Well, despite his extraordinary intellect, Turing remained socially awkward. He struggled with everyday interactions and understanding social cues. There are anecdotes about his poor chess playing and how he sometimes seemed oblivious to basic social dynamics. It's almost as if his mind, so adept at grappling with abstract concepts, found it challenging to process the nuances of human interaction.
So this brilliant mind, capable of cracking complex codes and envisioning intelligent machines, struggled with the complexities of everyday social life. It's a reminder that even the greatest minds can have their own unique challenges. Did he ever express his feelings about this?
There's a poignant moment where he confides in a friend, saying, "I have more contact with this bed than with other people."
Oh, wow.
It reveals a profound sense of loneliness and isolation despite his remarkable achievements.
That's a heartbreaking statement. It reminds us that even brilliant minds can be burdened by feelings of loneliness and isolation. And sadly, Turing's life took a dark turn due to the prejudices of the society he lived in.
That's right. In 1952, Turing was arrested and convicted for homosexuality.
Oh, wow.
Which was a criminal offense in Britain at the time. This conviction had a devastating impact on his life. Both personally and professionally.
It's tragic that someone who contributed so much to his country could be persecuted in such a way. What were the consequences of this conviction?
As an alternative to prison, he was forced to undergo hormone therapy.
Oh, gosh.
This treatment was essentially chemically induced castration.
Wow.
And had severe physical and psychological effects on Turing.
It's hard to imagine the injustice and suffering he must have endured. And to think he continued his scientific research, even in the face of these horrific circumstances.
He did. It's a testament to his incredible resilience and dedication to his work. However, the story ends in tragedy. In 1952, at the age of 41, Turing was found dead at his home.
What were the circumstances surrounding his death?
The official cause of death was cyanide poisoning.
Oh.
An inquest at the time ruled it a suicide.
Okay.
However, there's still some debate surrounding the exact circumstances of his death.
Right.
Some believe it was a deliberate act of suicide driven by the despair of his persecution.
Yeah.
Others, including his mother, believe it was a tragic accident.
Oh, okay.
Turing had been conducting experiments with cyanide, and his mother maintained that he may have accidentally ingested it.
It's a question that may never be definitively answered.
Yeah.
What a tragic loss, not just for the scientific community, but for humanity as a whole.
It is.
It makes you wonder what he might have achieved if he had been allowed to live and work
Yeah.
free from persecution.
It's a question that haunts us to this day. Turing's story reminds us of the immense costs of prejudice and intolerance. But despite the tragic ending,
Yeah.
his legacy continues to inspire and challenge us. His work laid the foundation for the digital age,
Right.
and his ideas about artificial intelligence remain profoundly relevant.
It's clear that his impact extends far beyond his lifetime.
Yes.
Turing's story is a powerful reminder of the potential of the human mind, but also of the importance of creating a society that values and nurtures brilliance in all its forms.
That's a crucial point. We need to celebrate the achievements of brilliant minds like Turing,
Yeah,
while also acknowledging the personal struggles they often face.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground. Right. From Turing's childhood and education to his wartime code-breaking and visionary work on AI.
Yes.
But there's one piece of the puzzle I'd like to explore further.
Okay.
The connection between his wartime experience at Bletchley Park
Yeah.
and his later work on computers and artificial intelligence.
That's a great observation. There's definitely a link there.
Right.
We'll delve into that fascinating aspect of Turing's journey next.
We were just discussing how Turing's time at Bletchley Park might have influenced his later work. It seems like more than just a coincidence that he went from breaking codes to envisioning intelligent machines.
You're absolutely right. There's a definite through line there. Bletchley Park wasn't just about code breaking. It was about building complex systems to process information on an unprecedented scale. Turing saw firsthand how machines could be used to decipher patterns, make decisions, and essentially think in a way that was revolutionary for the time.
So in a way, Bletchley Park wasn't just a proving ground for his code-breaking skills, but a glimpse into the future of computing itself.
Precisely. Building machines like the bomb exposed him to the practical challenges of designing and implementing complex computational systems. This hands-on experience undoubtedly shaped his vision for the automatic computing engine, or ACE. This was one of the earliest designs for a stored program computer. It's fascinating to think about how his wartime work could have planted the seeds for this groundbreaking idea.
Can you explain what a stored program computer is and why it was such a significant concept?
Imagine a computer that not only calculates but also stores the instructions for what to calculate. That was Turing's vision for the ACE, a truly revolutionary idea at the time. In a stored program computer, both data and instructions are held in the machine's memory, allowing it to be incredibly versatile and adaptable. This is the basis of how all modern computers work.
It's amazing to think that he was already anticipating the transformative power of computers in so many fields.
He was. And it's important to remember that the ACE was a significantly more ambitious project than the pilot ACE that was eventually built. Turing's vision was to create a truly general-purpose computing machine, capable of tackling a wide range of problems. He was thinking beyond the specific needs of code breaking and imagining a world where computers would be essential tools for science, math, and even creative endeavors.
That's a testament to his incredible foresight. It seems like he was always pushing the boundaries of what was considered possible.
Absolutely. And Turing's experience at Bletchley Park wasn't just about technology, it was also about people. He collaborated with a diverse group of brilliant minds, mathematicians, linguists, engineers, military personnel, all united by this common goal. This experience likely influenced his ideas about the collaborative nature of intelligence, both human and artificial.
I see what you mean. So his vision of artificial intelligence wasn't just about building solitary, isolated machines, but about creating systems that could interact and learn from each other, just like the teams he worked with at Bletchley.
Exactly. He recognized that intelligence, even in machines, might not be an individual phenomenon, but something that emerges from interaction and collaboration.
And this brings us back to a question we touched on earlier. How did Turing's personal struggles, his loneliness and his persecution, shape his views on the relationship between human and artificial intelligence?
That's a profound question and one we can only speculate on. However, there are intriguing hints in his writing that suggest a deep understanding of the complex interplay between intelligence, emotion, and social context. In his famous paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, he actually considered whether machines might need something akin to emotions or drives to truly exhibit intelligent behavior.
So he wasn't naive about the challenges of replicating human intelligence. He understood there was more than just logic and computation.
Exactly. He acknowledged the role of feelings, motivations, and the intricacies of human interaction in shaping our intelligence. It makes his personal struggles even more tragic. Here was a man acutely sensitive to the complexities of human emotion and social dynamics, yet he was persecuted for being different. It makes you wonder how his experiences might have influenced his views on whether machines could ever truly exhibit empathy and understanding.
It's a haunting thought.
Hmm.
As we wrap up this deep dive, what would you say is Turing's most enduring legacy?
It's a blend of tangible achievements and intangible qualities. His concrete contributions, like the Turing machine, the bomb, the ACE design, and the Turing test, are undeniable milestones in the history of computing. But equally important are his unwavering curiosity, his relentless pursuit of knowledge, and his willingness to challenge conventional thinking. He reminds us that true innovation often springs from questioning assumptions, embracing the unknown, and thinking differently.
That's a powerful message. And sadly, his story is also a reminder that brilliance can sometimes come at a great personal cost. We need to learn from Turing's experience and create a world that values and nurtures all minds, fostering an environment where they can flourish without fear of persecution.
I couldn't agree more. It's a responsibility we all share.
Thank you for guiding us through this fascinating deep dive into the life and work of Alan Turing. It's been an enlightening journey. For our listener, if you're interested in exploring Turing's story further, I highly recommend Andrew Hodges' biography, Alan Turing, The Enigma. It's a comprehensive and deeply moving account of an extraordinary life.
It's a must-read for anyone interested in the history of computing, artificial intelligence, and the human cost of prejudice.
This deep dive has given us much to reflect on. Alan Turing's legacy continues to shape our world, and his story serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. What would our world look like today if Turing had been free to live and work without the constraints of prejudice? It's a question worth pondering. Thank you for joining us on this.